If you guys that are wondering why I'm taking this 3D bow and I'm broadhead tuning it, the simple answer to that is if I can get a big old 100 grain 1.5" broadhead like I'm shooting to fly the same as a field point, it means my bow is tuned perfectly. There's a lot of different things that can cause your broadheads to move and not have the same point of impact as your field points, and a lot of that can be fixed. A lot of it can be fixed very easily. Now, are you going to be able to take your broadheads and your field points and knock a dime out, off your target with them? No, probably not. So what I do when it comes to that is, right now, I generally can get my broadheads and field points to hit within a few inches of each other. If you can get them to hit within a few inches of each other, especially if you're a hunter, you're good to go. That's as close as you're going to get. So if I can get mine within, say, 3 to 4 inches of each other anyway, then that's as good as that's as far as I'm gonna take it, and as good as I'm gonna get it. When I'm setting up a 3D bow, I'll leave my sight set with the field point. When I'm setting up a hunting bow, I'll leave my sight set with a broadhead. So if I'm setting this bow up and say my broadhead's hitting dead center, but my field point's hitting a little bit low, well, I'm gonna move my sights down to where my field point's hitting into the center of the target. With my hunting bow, I'm gonna do just the opposite. If I'm hitting my broadhead high and my field point right in the center, well, I'm going to raise my sight up, lower my arrow down, and get some accuracy with my broadhead. So tune this bow to your broadheads, and it'll perform really good for you. But keep in mind what you're doing with it, 3D, indoor, or hunting, and try to make it as accurate as possible with that kind of head. Okay, so I've got my hips target here. Now this is my hips broadhead target, and I know it looks a little bit rough, but this thing's had about 4,000 shots on it, so considering the amount of shots it's had on it, it's in pretty good shape. And the broadhead that I'm going to be shooting is this Steel Force Fathead. I've got a brand new one here that's never been shot, and we're gonna tune it to that. Guys who aren't familiar with that, that's the 100 grain Steel Force Fathead, stainless steel blades, aluminum ferrule, very, very good head. I shot 3 deer this year with the same one and had really good, excellent results out of them. So if you can tune your field points and your broadheads, especially if you're shooting ones like this, to hit in the same spot, then you're doing pretty good. If you guys who are shooting mechanicals, I highly recommend that you do the same thing. Borrow a buddy's broadhead. If a buddy's shooting something like this, borrow his broadheads and tune that bow. It's really just going to fine tune your bow. It's going to help your accuracy, and it's going to help your bow perform at its peak. So I highly recommend that no matter what kind of broadhead you're shooting, or no matter what you're doing, you broadhead tune your bow. Alright, the first shot is going to be with the broadhead. We're just going to see where it's going to hit. It's going to be at 20 yards. Our second shot will be with the field point, and it'll be from 20 yards. Okay, you can see there that the bow's performing pretty well with the broadhead. I hit a little bit high and a little bit right, which for my bow I'm shooting a little bit right anyway. So I actually just shot, since I'm consistently right, I actually just shot about an inch high, which with the broadhead, that's pretty good. This arrow, I aimed a little bit left because I didn't want to get up into my broadhead and ruin my broadhead. So I aimed a little bit left. So I think I'm pretty consistently just about an inch high with that broadhead. Now, we're going to run through this real quick and tell you what you need to do if you're not, if your bow's not tuned like that. If you go out and your bow's not shooting like this, if your bow's off, don't let it discourage you. You can fix almost every problem with a bow. Now, when you start out with this, the most important thing when you start out with these 3 steps of tuning is that your bow itself is actually tuned pretty well. Your cams are in time. Check your axle to axle and your brace height and make sure they're close. Now, axle to axle and brace height are approximate measurements, so make sure they're fairly close. And do like we did in our other video where we started with this bow and we just tuned it out. So make sure those things are in time, and then do these 3 things. When you're done, your bow will just be a precision instrument of death. Or at least that's what I like to call it. So For you guys that are off, we'll get our handy dandy little notebook out here again and go back to our Easton Aero Tuning and Maintenance Guide. And like I said, you can download this from Easton. I downloaded this right off the website and printed it out. So if you've got internet access, just go to Easton's website and download this and print it out. A lot of good information here. And do that with everything. You can go to Bowtech's website, you can go to Athens' website, High Country's website. I've got schematics of cams and things like that, strings, how the strings go on these cams. So there's a wealth of information on the internet if you do a little bit of exploring and print these things out. Now, broadhead tuning is very easy. On page 11 here, we've got standard tuning for broadheads. And what you'll see is you've got this little chart right here. And what this chart is going to show you is you've got your center impact. That's where your fill points are hitting. And then it's got these X's to the right, to the left, down, and up. That tell you where your broadheads are impacting. Now it'll tell you how to fix each one of those. So say that we were doing this and I want to try to tune that inch high out. It's very simple. If my broadheads are shooting high, I need to raise my knocking point up. You're going to want to do that at about a 1/16 inch or an 1/8 inch at a time and try to bring that down. Now if you get to where you're going, yeah, your arrow looks completely out of square, just stop, and you're going to have to accept that that's the case. Like mine here, I'm not going to mess with my knocking point for that little bit of high. Now if you're shooting high and left, there's a couple different things you can do. You can raise your knocking point first. You can make sure you're shooting the right spine of arrow. That's very important when it comes to broadhead tuning. That broadhead really adjusts how that arrow flexes. And if you're not shooting the proper spine of an arrow, then you're not going to be able to broadhead tune your bow. We discussed that in one of our other videos, and we talked about that. This is where, like me, when we did that video, the charts were telling me to pick a 400 spine, and what I ended up picking was a 350 spine, because last year when I bought this Athens bow, I picked up 350 spine arrows, and they were doing it. I was having problems with it because they were too weak. So I switched to a 400 grain or 400 spine arrow. Oh, actually I switched from a 400 spine arrow to a 350 spine arrow, and it fixed my problems right away. So get to know your bow, and if you're completely new to this, go to the pro shop and maybe buy one arrow of a 400 spine of what the chart tells you, and then maybe buy one of a 350 if that one doesn't work out later, until you get that spine proper spine for your bow. So say you're shooting off to the left, it's another spine reaction. If you're shooting off to the left, your arrow is too stiff. Now there's other things you can do too besides just going out and buying new arrows. You can increase your bow's poundage. You can increase the broadhead weight. That's going to determine how that arrow flexes. And there's a couple other. This is kind of outdated. There's another suggestion that says decrease tension in Cusher plunger. If you guys have remember the old Cusher plungers, so some of this information is a little bit outdated. But another thing you can do is move the arrow rest or Cusher plunger in toward the bow, and they recommend you do this at 30 seconds at a time. So if you're shooting low, it's just the opposite as if you're shooting high. You want to lower your knocking point. If you're shooting to the right of where your field points impact, then you got a weak spine reaction, and there's a couple different things you can do there. You can decrease your bow's poundage, you can lighten your broadhead weight, you can increase the tension in your Cusher plunger if any of you guys got a Cusher plunger on your bow, or you can move your arrow rest away from the bow 30 seconds at a time. So very simple to do. So that's the 3 steps that I take to tune my bow. We paper tune it, I walk back tune it, and I broadhead tune it. And like I said, all this information is available with that Easton tuning guide. You can go to Easton's website and you can get that printed out. I highly recommend you take these 3 steps, take a little bit of time to tune your bow, and I think you'll reap the benefits, and you'll really, I believe most guys, if they start doing this, will never shoot another bow that ain't tuned this way. So if you have any questions or comments, please contact us, ikesoutdoors.com, or send me an email, ikesoutdoors@yahoo.com. We appreciate you watching.
I like good times, good wine, good smoke, and a 5-piece bed. And I can't help it, it's just